Yo,
Well, let's see. The temperature is at operating temperature. The AC is on. The battery is charged. Plenty of fuel. Oil pressure's good. Engine's running. But I am fucked, but we are fucking roasting in this damn truck. Signing off. Hey. Sorry about that, Yam.
oh no, not me. It's later. my birthday is later.
Yeah.
Wednesday is now, or what is it, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's actually today.
Oh wow, happy birthday, man!
It's okay. I'm old. I'm 35 years old. This ain't the age that I was preaching about for months.
Not that old. I mean, in the manosphere, people are typically a lot older. You know.
Yeah.
Like you got those guys, those Yoopers and stuff. You know, up there in Michigan, they're like, oh yeah. They're like going after people in MGTOW now. You can tell.
I mean, well, first things foremost, I don't even know why I treat yourself like milk. I don't know why they're going after people in MGTOWs, because they're mad because is it because they got the girls getting on their nerves? Well, first things foremost, if they have a healthy relationship, they shouldn't care what people in MGTOW thinking. You know?
No,
Red pill.
the difference between being single and liking being single and not being able to have a long-term like a steady long-term relationship. Like
Man,
a relationship that worked out, you know, you're pretty much you're different than somebody who just is used to being alone.
yeah.
So there's that. On top of the fact, you got a lot of people that are orbiting men in the manosphere to get closer to who they consider to be MGTOWs, because that's what it is for them. It's not a philosophy. It's like, ooh, let me try to infiltrate and see if I can find a higher purpose. Or they kind of go in. It's like going into a costuming group with no real like ability to keep your bullshit out of it. You're inevitably, people are gonna hate you because all you talk about is your problems. So it's just like people come and say like, oh, I have trolls on my channel, guys. You need to help me deal with them. Like, are you serious?
Right. I mean, I got trolls on my channel. I just asked them to kind of keep the language to a minimum.
Yeah. So
You know?
that's what I think. I think that's funny. They really can't go after people effectively. They just kind of always fall apart. But,
right.
I mean, we saw somebody blow up earlier on a video from Slippery. That was
right. Fun. Hey, Dan King. I think Dan King blew up too.
Dan King has over 1,000 subscribers.
Oh so yeah.
Blow up.
That he didn't have to buy. That he didn't buy.
Shout out to Jordan Daniels. Yeah, I think that Mega Man, even if it's not true that he bought subscribers, it's still funny to accuse him of that because he just gets so upset. He's like, so I don't think personally, I don't believe that he can get that many subscribers that fast, but I'm not gonna flat out say he bought them. But it is funny to accuse him of buying them because he reacts so fucking harshly to criticism.
Yeah, give him a maxi pad, give him a maxi pad, some freaking maxi pad mod on, some
I think
chocolate.
Thick Skin Crew, Maurice Delk. I think they let him in as a good counterbalance because he has like the thinnest skin out of anybody on YouTube. Like even for he has 2,000 subscribers and he's worried about like what one person has to say about him.
Right? One, maybe two, maybe three, four, five, or six, or seven, and the number keeps growing. God dang! What are we up to? 10?
Oh, you mean his hit list? Yeah, he's got a lot of people on his hit list.
Dang! Wow. And he literally goes over there and sends people over there to threaten to literally mass flag the videos. You know?
Or he just creates extra accounts. Like he's the kind of guy to do that. I
Yeah,
mean,
I can
okay,
see that.
if you're at ground zero, like begging for money when you weren't even at or around 9/11, that's the kind of person that would make thousands of sub accounts and attempt to buy YouTube subscribers and try to manipulate the narrative. Like he is manipulating. Saying that you were there on 9/11 when you were there on 9/12 is manipulating the narrative. It's the very definition of manipulating the narrative.
Now, if he would have said that I was a good Samaritan and not a first responder, that would have been more acceptable.
Yeah, but nobody asked him. Like that's the thing. Nobody
Never
asked.
asked him. Did you ask him?
Ask him. That's what he wants. He wants to be asked so that he can spew out bullshit. But the thing is like if you tell enough people bullshit, eventually they do the research and they put out the real story on you. Then no one needs to come to you because somebody actually did the research and put out the real story. Because a person can lie, and a machine run YouTube account called Phantasma Anti MGTOW can also resemble a real person. So it's very easy for people to put the pieces together that this person is a fraud, that he creates alter egos, whatever. And we saw a real showing of his true personality when he did that thing to his screen.
He snitched on himself?
Basically, yeah, by trashing his apartment, he kind of said multiple things. One, that this is how he truly feels. He's not like this nice, buttery, flaky Pillsbury Doughboy that everybody thinks that he is. He's
And
doing
if
that.
you replace that wall partition with a with a Latino lady, and you replace them chairs with some kids, you get my drift.
Yeah,
Use your imagination.
instead of a Svenga, it will be a tablita.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he would trash it. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And that's all I'm trying to say about Mega Man. We're not trying to remove his funding or call the leasing office or get him evicted or, prevent him from buying Freddy Krueger action figures and sweatshirts and things like that. We're just trying to tell people that, hey, if you really want to watch Mega Man's channel unironically, you have to be able to read between the lines of what he's trying to say as opposed to believing what he says is right. And thinking that the
Right.
world just has the problem. The world is the issue. Like, it's really not. The world is not the issue. The issue is like the person who's sending the information. Because if you saw his hand in the picture of the kitchen where he threw the screen, his hand is not trembling at all. It is not like balled up in.
Yeah.
It's not like twisted and contorted. He could never argue in court that he was possessed or he was in a fit of rage because like all of that positioning and stuff in front of the camera, even like his mace in his back pocket, all can communicate to you that he's doing this for attention. He's planning on putting all these little elements in so that you can feel bad for him. Like he hits the screen over and then he's like crying. Then he hits the screen over, then he cries again. Dan King puts the different thematic music, like switching them like on a turntable because it's literally that fast. Like a person who's being traumatized doesn't flip or has suffers from PTSD doesn't flip emotions like that quickly.
Right. They try to contain it.
They try to keep because they feel like a burden to everybody else.
Right. They typically try to contain it.
Yeah. So I mean, grandiose, yes, but not.
And here's a little saying.
If he was in South Dakota, shit, there wouldn't be nothing, no mental illness. We'd be like, you don't want to get a job, it's because you don't want to work.
Yep. And the thing is like if bricks were shit,
Slam.
we'd all have houses. If bricks were shit, we all have houses. You know, or if
Right.
shit were bricks, we'd all have houses.
I think that if
Yep.
he had to, I think that if he had the choice, he would break more things to get more attention. But he tries to say like, what dust, what lead, what bullet holes. It's like, Wally, you can't erase. You can't. It's already been. You've already made videos showing yourself.
Yep, and
Yeah.
people have already downloaded it.
Yes.
Hey,
Say what?
yep,
Billy the Goat.
Billy the Goat.
Oh, hold on. I'll be right back.
But I'm saying it's like hopefully I'm waiting. I'm hoping that this one person comes in. You know, yeah, this one person. What's his name? Runyoker something. I hope he comes in. That'd be nice. See him in the comment section. Bailey's happy birthday. Bill Bailey's. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get you in here, Billy. Okay, let's see. Got here. Come on. Oh, there he is. Yeah, if we can get Billy in here, it would be like a bleeding edge or a miniature bleeding edge. But we don't got the bleeding edge portion. But yeah, it's like for me, my only problem with Mega Man is the simple fact he blows things complete. Well, actually, got a few problems. But the thing is, he blows things out of proportion, completely and utterly out of proportion, and nobody can get a word in otherwise. Oh well, we got Billy to go. Billy,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Win. Hope it's going well.
yeah,
Happy birthday.
yeah,
All right, I'm back. But yeah, with the whole like dodging responsibility thing, like with Mega Man crying in his latest stream, you have to really ask yourself like, what is he doing to really get his family back? Like when he said, "I just want my family back," like what is he doing to get his family back? What exactly is he doing?
he's absolutely doing nothing. He's showing nothing. He's doing nothing. He is showing nothing. He's shown no progress other than going after Dan King, Slipper When Wet, Bobby Parzik, and a few other people. That's the only thing he's done, and it's literally done the complete
His,
opposite.
he always calls himself his own the people that follow him his brothers, brothers. Maybe that's the family. You mean if that's the case, then he sure as hell always name drops a few or three or four handful of men to keep them around him at all times, almost like dysfunctional family members.
You know what else he names drops? He names drop. He names drops people he doesn't like.
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch it with that in mind, like the fact that he really only talks about people, his trolls, then if you can think about them as his family, then his whole entire channel is legitimized. Like it makes sense. It's like self actualized. Like he is doing everything in his life that he could ever want.
Well,
It's,
yeah, yeah, said only problem. Yeah, yeah, I said only problem. I've got many problems with Mega Man. The fact that he doxes people.
is it really family when you treat those members as bootlickers?
Probably not. I know if any of my family treat me like a bootlegger, I will not talk to them. That I will not pick up their phone calls, and if I move, I will not give them my address.
I didn't realize that kind of loving of or craving the attention from the family members again was abuse until until I had the proper until I saw that video of him throwing the table and or throwing the chairs and throwing the screen and stuff. It's like he's subconsciously he's telling himself that he needs to stop the act. Like he needs to destroy the stage, destroy his Bradley unit, destroy everything that he's tried to do to try to not be
Well,
perceived as the right man. And he's starting to realize that he can't keep up a facade.
well, short-term thinking causes a bit of a problem because let's say his wish is granted and his family does somehow get hoovered back in and return. What is he going to do then?
It's probably the same thing he did to lose them.
Yeah. Self-sabotage, pretty much.
The thing is, the thing is about it is he claims that they never had a better father than him. Then what do you do? What is he? He's not doing anything to prove it. He's on YouTube, and he says that if he ever got his family back, he'd get off YouTube. But the thing is, it looks like he's going to be on YouTube till the day he croaks.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems just like he's comfortable giving these emotions in this. Like I was just talking to how it's calculated it is. But
You know,
he could put that effort into raising a child. He would like that kid would be would have a lot of knowledge to use for himself. But I guess
I mean,
he wishes to give his kids the life in North Carolina where he's being trolled and being his car is being attacked. Like, can you imagine if he had actual human beings that he cared about when the only thing that you can see that he cares about is Freddy masks and stuff, which get ridiculed online, and his car, which gets attacked and its tires slashed and stuff like that. He gets harassed in his surrounding neighborhood. So does he really put kids into that situation? That's what I'm saying.
maybe he's slashing his own tires or busting his own windows.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what the display was last night. Was that he is coming to the realization that he can't have what he wants in that entire dream that he built up for himself. Like it's going to be me and the kids and the mom.
yeah, you said it spot on when you describe it as a stage. I mean, it's all a production show. It's all for appearances. So when you work it from that kind of perspective, then every kind of micro expression, every nuanced sentence that is uttered, every mannerism, every display, his outfit, his clothing, the way it's all laid out, it's all Einstein for a particular cause. It's to give off an impression, to create an image. I mean, to go off on a psychological sort of springboard here, if you don't mind. I mean, fundamentally, it's a reflected image that he wants to present to himself. That's how he is. He is so isolated in his own emotions and mind that despite having his 2,000 subscribers or whatever, he's all alone. The only person who really cares is his own perception of himself.
Because the little mirror cost too much money, so he decided to destroy the screen that's behind him. Like he had the camera. To destroy the camera would literally end the cycle of abuse.
What kind of screen is that? Is that like a paper screen? I mean, I imagine that would be pretty delicate.
I do believe it's a rice paper screen.
Right, and it has no damage on it. So, I mean, he can't even destroy things properly. So, I mean, I don't think he intentionally wanted to destroy stuff because there'll be this sort of hesitation, knowing that one, he'd have to replace the screen, and two, if he's very materialistic, he likes his items, he likes spending money.
That's the that's why it didn't occur fast enough for me to call it an emotional outburst, because he's thinking about the cost of benefit of like where he's putting all of that. Like a real angry person is going to throw the peanut butter jar at the front door through the glass window, and they're going to think about it.
Did
But
you see him make remarks when he was like, if I want to throw a beer bottle on the floor, then I'll do it. And the way he threw it was like the flimsiest, wussiest kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
if you wanted to prove how erratic or eccentric you are, you would say something maybe like, if I want to smash my head over with this beer bottle, then I'll bloody well do it. And then Donk can smash his head. So he didn't want to actually do it. And then he reenacts like, if I want to knock over a bit of furniture, then so be it. And it's the most gentlest tantrum you could possibly see, with such care and like orchestrated. So what I was saying on Dan's stream is like, why does he have these meltdowns and outbursts? For the same reason like other people with personality disorder traits have meltdowns, to transfer the responsibility onto whoever it is, the audience or people watching. So that is saying basically he's given the message, which is like, you lot better not piss me. Can I be a bit
Oh, sure.
I swear.
My channel's already got a strike. It doesn't really matter to me.
Okay. He's basically signaling to his viewers like, look, you better not piss me off, and you better comply and do what I say. Otherwise, watch what will happen. If I destroy something, if I hurt myself,
It's your fault.
It was just like his political videos too. The call to action, like when he can joke, because if you take the joke literally, it's almost like political inaction, or it's like not being a part of the. He used to call people out in every group that he's ever been in for not taking the political environment seriously enough, and choosing to be more of a, I guess I just say, normal, regular, everyday individual, and not try to be a part of a political group. But so he's done that constantly, every single pairing that society tries to, like, match him into place, and it never works. He's always melts down, like what you're saying, Billy, to give other people the responsibility of showing up to the group and just participating to the group.
He made another remark.
Why out on the bleeding edge?
Yeah, it's all transferring responsibility. I mean, even on a more subtle or lower stakes at cost kind of level, he made a reference saying something like I don't know how long his stream, the duration was taking place, but he makes a comment along the lines of something. I don't want my channel to be like this, but because of Dan and his cronies, here we are having to do it. So he's not taking any ownership of like saying like,
Conception.
what Dan is doing, I'm not going to be discussing it here. We're going to be talking about a topic or something. No, he's actually using Dan's
Cover
his
perception,
to validate and justify his venting out on his own stream.
Like, think about it. If every single time he shows his face, it's like he commits a crime, he needs Dan to basically show as like a way to send the cops or send the dogs or whatever to go to another place so that he can continue to hide more of the story. And he continues to do, like, recently, and I'm talking not recently, but earlier this, like a few months ago, he was talking about his daughter, how he saved his daughter's life, and like made that a whole diatribe about how can you say he doesn't care about his kids, not having tried to get them, or
now the question is, did he cause the problem? Did he cause the problem? That's the question.
That's the question. Why did you have to save somebody's life in near and around you if your environment is a safe, environment? That's why.
Refer to rule number 1. Don't believe if the lips are moving, don't believe a word that comes out. So whatever is said, either it's being embellished, exaggerated, it's not true. It like 9.9 times out of 10, it's not going to be face value of, as what is being said. I would seriously doubt that he literally, as he claims, there'll be some kind of distortion, some sort of twist, some sort of skew.
I'll give you an
again,
example. How about when he says things that Dan and Slippery say about him are flat out a lie? That's 100% false. I think that's a good example.
Well, I mean, you've got the other element here going on, which is a big issue of control and ascertaining that and making sure that is not lost. So,
Nobody said, "Are you still going on about this?" LOL.
Yeah, I came in because it was Wynn's birthday. I didn't realize we were going to be talking about Mega Man.
Hey, it is what it is. Hey, look, this is entertaining.
Put him in a box. But like, I mean, it makes a profound. Like going back a little bit to saving his daughter, right? To value the importance of appearance and presenting this production over what actually took place, or maybe he did save his daughter, but you can see that his priority is the payoff, the beneficiary aspects of retelling this story. I mean, like, so what? You saved your daughter. Do we all need to know this? Why not just keep that private? I mean, that could be quite a traumatic experience that maybe you might not want to relive, but for some reason you felt compelled to tell everyone just how heroic you were saving your daughter. For what gain? So you can see how he's actually using what may or may not have happened with his daughter to capitalize on it. Look at me, everyone. I'm a hero. I saved my daughter's life. It's like, well, how is your daughter doing? Like, never mind that. That's secondary. That's she's fine, by the way.
Right. But the thing is, he keeps bringing it up.
What recycling to milk it dry to get every ounce of value possible. It shows you the problem of depletion and the continual need to harp on about it and make it an ongoing battle. He might say he wants the drama to end, and he might say he wants a peaceful life. He might say he wants his family to come home to him. That's the last thing, really. Like, a conclusion is not what he wants.
He wants it to go on and on, like people never end.
It's the cycle that keeps them alive and keeps them going. A conclusion indicates termination. It indicates death, and they don't want that happening, because then what happens next? They don't think that far ahead. They're put off by it, so they want to live in the moment. In the moment, they live forever. This is a form of immortality, and it's just cycling those emotions round and round and round. How do I get attention? How do I get control? And then how do I keep it going?
Emotions. It just seems so similar.
You are actively shaming people for talking about it, which I think is funny, because like they have a right to be upset, because this is typically like not the subject of conversation, unless it's a channel that's hell bent on psychologically dismantling this stuff. But honestly, Mega Man has made himself into such a meme. It's just crazy. Like, my YouTube Shorts feed will be partly him, real stuff that he's done, but also mostly people parodying him. So if something can be parodied, is ridiculing it really something that like someone who's a free thinker or an individual would really do? You have to ask yourself that. At what point can I be mad at Mega Man? What can I really be mad at people who?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty. Like, Brother Shinobi one makes a very strong statement there, isn't it? Well, I have to scroll up to word it exactly, but don't you revolve around him? And he's right, which puts Mega Man or people with these mental difficulties. Now I'm going to be showing a bit of sympathy here for Mega Man. If he's listening.
And the will of
Put
people.
him in the center. So he's in the center. It's like the world revolves around him, or the people who inhabit the world revolve around him, and he's at the center. This is like a grandiosity position to have. But
Even
it's also
people who talk about him revolve around him as well, defending him. Basically, they're closer to him than people who ridicule him. Like, it'd be like the gravitational pull is stronger for them, and it's weaker for like celestial objects out in the far outer reaches of the system. Just looking at from afar, like
you're looking at issues of dependency. So the enablers, the flying monkeys, the supporters, they're circling around him for their own selfish reasonings. It's not as buddy bro, you got my back, I got yours sort of appearance. It's more for emotional needs, validations, and wants that they're in there. So in a bit of a mean way, but it's kind of more it's a more more realistic sort of way of putting it. Is they're in it for their own beneficiaries. Like, there's no loyalty amongst mentally ill people, really. They might say they are
like putting, okay. I think
together with strength.
Right. Being mentally ill and being involved in social media is a whole microcosm within itself. Like, you have to admit Mega Man has like this nerve, but if you have realize that he has a mental illness, or you acknowledge mental illness, maybe you can translate that nerve to more of a, hey, don't do what Mega Man does. Don't show your whole entire life online. Like, people do this, and they try to hide who they really are, and it's kind of shameless, which is why people really want to not focus on Mega Man, because they want to be these shameless, proud individuals proselytizing, or like putting themselves out there like, hey, I'm this. A lot of people don't have the confidence or the nerve to do that, and that's like that's not a bad thing. Like, of course we want courage, but not stupidity. It's just like there's a fine line between hiding yourself for a good reason, and just hiding yourself so that you can get away with more of the bullshit.
Right.
And I think that's the nuance to like this whole Mega Man thing, and why people don't get it, why people don't want to have the conversation. I understand it's a confidence in a different area, and I think that we just have to accept that we're versatile, and we have the maturity to actually talk about it. And that way it eventually gets handled at some point. I mean, the fact that there's no progress that's being made in terms of me talking about this it's not really my fault. I'm watching and reporting on a situation. So until the situation changes, you're probably going to get the same amount of information, the same kind of take on it, because that why would I change my mind about a situation without anything changing?
I mean,
it's emotional.
This might sound a bit bizarre, but so people that are involved or connected, or that are orbiting around the center, that in this case Mega Man, but it could be anyone with traits and characteristics that similar, right? Cluster Bs primarily, but we're not people, unfortunately. He doesn't see us as people. We're extensions of himself. The world being populated by one person, himself. So we are utensils, we are objects, we are extensions. We're not people. So what kind of role do we play in this stage performance production show, this movie, or whatever it is? Well,
nothing more than a clown show.
We are the ones who are regulating his emotions. We are the fail-safe mechanism that is preventing him from utter detonation.
You know, the crazy thing about it is, if we're the ones regulating his emotions, that's a problem.
It's it's a weird kind of position to be in. Yeah, it is a problem because if we decide to go ghost or silence and abandon him, essentially, stop doing talks about him, like Dan, you stop and all this, he would go nuts because who would he have to vent out to anymore? Like his own supporters, his own followers aren't going to be adequate enough to give him the motivation.
He
Or
turned on Maurice Delk. He turned on Queen Ma'at. That's what would happen. He turned on Maurice Delk and Queen Ma'at. Get them up his behind.
Yeah, they'll need a new scapegoat, a new punch bag. They'll start to cannibalize, and we see this happening by looking at other case studies and things like that. So this isn't like just an imaginative possibility. This is sort of documented. We have examples where we see once the trauma bonded, like if we look at it from a more relationship, husband-wife sort of scenario, once the abused victim kind of escapes and goes their own way, the abusive, the mentally damaged and ill and dependent, whatever, struggles and they collapse. They we call it a narcissistic collapse. They start entering things like psychosis. They go dementia. They go completely balmy because now they're alone and they're stuck with themselves and they've got this self-hatred, this deep loathing, disgust.
On a more positive note, well, for me, I just got a nice load from one end from the central part of PA, and it's a 2-stopper, one in Missouri, one in Texas. So that kind of works in my favor. I mean, was hoping to be home this weekend, but hey, it's 2-stopper, and I'm the first hired.
So
I'm making them.
Oh, first time to get the 2-stopper.
Yeah, well, the first. I mean, you get all the loads that are just. You get all the loads that are just out there,
A little too out there for people.
I mean, I don't mind it, I mean, Monday it would have been better well, then again, I did get 3 stops, get 3 loads loaded and unloaded Monday, so that worked out in my favor.
There's a lot of driving. I know you like it. That's just a lot of driving.
Wow.
Vision of wife differences to be acquired, not as an individual residing in the same realm. Yeah, I'm married to Mega Man. Now I understand why he wants to have sex with me. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
if
I want Mitzi back, I would be doing a different thing than what Mega Man's doing. Like, honestly, like I'm not saying there's a single game that everybody's got to follow, but like if you want somebody, there's certain things you have to do in order to get them, as in, i.e., I don't know, like be in the same proximity as them. Like that has.
Can I creep Dan out?
I like the idea of long distance and stuff like that's kind of romantic, but sending them $400 in an Evite to I don't know, to whatever place Walmart is not going to win them back.
Right. Listen, in all seriousness, right, and I mean this in a kind of not to ridicule or whatever. If someone in his position wants to make an improvement, to get rid of all the haters and all this sort of stuff and turn his life around, then CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and get yourself a therapist, and then turn around to the audience and be like, "Look, guys, I'm acknowledging, I'm now taking some ownership and self-responsibility and all this sort of stuff, and I would really appreciate it if you would just lay off me." And who knows, fingers crossed, and then go silent and go off and do some therapy.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a good a husband or a father in this state.
Nobody. Nobody
he-
would be a good husband, father, whatever,
Right.
in any state like that.
Like you could break it down as well. You could be like, look, in order for me to be a good father and a good husband, things like that, I need to exercise some boundaries. I.e., that means I need to stop interacting on YouTube and streams and this drama. It's like fine. If you want to
A lot more.
blaming Dan for it,
That's really, like the drama's not going away, but you can leave the area where the drama's happening. That is a fact.
well, it takes two to tango kind of thing. So he can't pin all the blame on people like Dan and his trolls and whoever these haters of his for his continual participation. He doesn't have to. He could just say like, look, no to all of that. I've got other priorities, i.e., I want to be there for my family, and put that in front of people like Dan. So it shows you where his prerogatives lie, what matters more to him, and in that sense, Dan matters more than it would. From what we're seeing, from his actions, Dan matters more than being a dad or a husband.
But
Right.
I think he knows that, but he wants to assign. This is why I think he's liberal, because he wants
He
to.
wants to pass the blame.
Well, he
he-
wants to use Dan as an excuse for
he-
not
he-
trying to
hiding
it.
behind women and children. This is what like all radicalized people do, is like they do something very violent, hyper violent or hyper masculine, and then they hide behind women and children. He's literally using his family as a way to excuse all the terrible things that he said about Slippery, about Dan, about anybody that Maurice Delk in the future, Queen Ma in the future. There's basically his family is a beard to hide like his deviance and all his little proclivities, and I'm using a sex toy to ridicule people like Dan, and that's why you should get mad at him.
Yeah, that's the kind of amazing part about it. Is the people like this become so skillful at avoiding accountability and responsibility. It's like if only you could kind of like harness that commitment or that energy, that focus or whatever, and use it in a positive way. That's why it's kind of funny when if narcissists weren't so malicious and hell bent to abuse people, they would actually make good therapists. It's kind of bizarre when you think of it like that, because they're so hypersensitive and hyper vigilant, and they got a highly intuitive sort of way of looking at people. They're zoning in at their weaknesses. Now, if only they weren't trying to exploit the people's weaknesses, they could actually be very beneficial to society, because they can point out, be like, hey dude, I can see your weaknesses, I can see where you're vulnerable. Why? Because a predator would target that and zone in on those sort of those cracks in the armor. But if you were trying to be a positive force in nature, you would actually help the person and be like, these are the areas you need to work on.
But that would take so much work, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd have to stop.
It's
Stop
kind of like
and
it's kind of
try
like
to
Hammer, everything evil is a nail. But if you could make it so that everything good was a nail, maybe he would be a better like he would actually end up being a better person. But yeah, if you could change his ideology to one that would like help society, that would maybe make up for it. Imagine if every narcissist could be like could use their exploit things to perfectly aid society. That would be an amazing utopia.
If he actually took the time to think.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's another thing that I find wrong. He doesn't think. He doesn't freaking think, and it's like he's older than me. He is older than me, and he acts like this. Think about it. If I act like this, what would happen? I'd lose my CDL. I wouldn't. I mean, I'd get fired from a trucking company if I acted anything like him.
The biological age element shouldn't really be looked upon here. I mean, we're looking at more like what is he what is his emotional age? And in that
That's a
sense,
good question.
he's actually younger than you.
And there's the thing, which basically brings into the drugs and alcohol. You know, goes into drugs and alcohol.
Another issue that quite often people will suffer from with this, because it's like, one might ask, like, can he not see what is happening? Has he got such poor self-awareness that he doesn't realize what's going on? And as a result, like, how can he have such conviction in what he believes? I mean, if you take what he says or his actions and plot it down, write it down, and things like that, it's like, it's pretty self-evident what's going on. Like, things don't stack up. You might not know what the underlying belly of the problem is, but you can see that this isn't right. So there must be. So this calls for deeper investigation or exploration. Like, wouldn't one think that this would be a sign to do some self-reflection, for instance, or inner work or whatever? But the
No, it's drama. That's drama, Billy.
barrier is what we call ego syntonic. His ego aligns with his beliefs, so he doesn't see there's a problem. What he would need for a turn in the road, a fork in the road, for something to click and change, for some sort of radical deviation to occur, what he would need is ego dystonic, where his ego doesn't line up with how he perceives himself, and then that is like a foot in the door for recovery.
Right now, because he's starting to like actually, instead of trying to repair the world around him, he's actually trying to like ruin it. But we can see he still is in the pattern of like fixing what he does and trying to pardon and trying to gain a little bit more extra supply. But if he can really just be able to distance himself from people by all these violent stuff that he's doing, he might actually get a little bit of a reprieve to maybe think about it more.
Well, I mean,
That actually makes sense.
It's a dilemma what you create there, because destroying the world, unfortunately, I mean, this is why quite often it's characterized as self-destructive behavior. Destroying it or being self-destructive is the form of what he would call repairing, healing. This is management. This is health. This is the cure. The cure is self-destruct.
He acts like he's like 13 or 14 or something.
Yeah, like an edgy 14-year-old. Yeah, for sure. Like with the black bands and stuff on the wrists, and then throwing it. It's kind of punk to throw around furniture, at least kick furniture. You know, you want to give a furniture like a chair a nice kick in the pants. That's pretty punk rock.
It's the appearance. Remember that big
It is.
thing, appearance of having control, where there is no control.
It's not, I mean, the thing is that until he realizes that he has no control over the situation, well, this is going to continue to repeat. It's going to be repeated over and over again. You know, like I said, if everybody, if shit was bricks, we'd all have a house.
Yeah, I mean, we would like to think of like positives and negatives. You know, you want to have a good life, kind of thing. So you want to do what's right. But for someone who is in the turmoil of chaos, right and wrong doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are the cause of this chaos, which creates a sense of significance. Significance, meaning importance. It means I exist, I matter. I must be some kind of benefit to. I am the important gear of the system. Without me, none of this chaos, unfortunately, would happen. He doesn't even recognize that. It's like, hello, chaos is not a good thing. It's like, it doesn't matter. I am the important gear that drives this whole machine. Without me, none of it would happen. And it's like, oh, is that such a good thing, or is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's
From
like,
what I can understand, he wants to be the sole proprietor of everything.
yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It just the importance of needing to be in
It's
existence.
role fulfillment. It's like pretty much like what they job satisfaction, though what they did with studies back in the day, like back in the big marketing days. They would just would like say, "Are you satisfied? Do you feel like what's your passion?" They would do all these probing questions to try to get workers to like admit that's where they came up with like the different types of workers, like a type B person or a type B person. It's because in organization you have a certain amount of people who are unsatisfied with like, what their experience, and so they express it in a different way. I think like what Billy said is really important because it makes you realize that like yeah, if I imagine a person his age, it's like if you started your own business, you wouldn't really be as dependent on the system. If you learn how to be your own firefighter, police officer, and EMT, you wouldn't feel comfort living in that heavily congested, high traffic area where a lot of
Right.
people just make stops and bug you.
The thing
Right.
is,
And
You
the crazy thing about it is
one exit off of the interstate.
exactly.
You make it so easy for people to screw with you, and then you put out your entire thing online. Like no one is going to actually have that idea to come over to your house and you know confront you about all the bullshit that you say.
yeah, it's
We all got bullshit, but it's just nobody's as easy of a target. Maybe I'm a easy target.
what happened.
yeah.
They stumble on the alternative way of navigating through life, and
Look,
Right.
it becomes easy in a way because the problem with self exploration, self reflection, even going to a therapist or reaching out for help is the element of taking ownership, and this is very daunting. It's like asking a kid to now look after yourself in life, and they
Yeah.
don't want to. They don't really want to. If there is a way out, they won't do it. It's like because it's very. I mean, my kid is facing reality now, and so what happens is typically a frustration because fantasy comes crashing down, and now reality, the truth, hurts, and uh, being responsible is something new to them. So it's a scary prospect, but it's kind of like, but if you can get past those initial uh, fears, it does get easier. However, as long as there's enablers and people to wipe his butt for him, the alternative way of dealing with life, then that's the way they'll go instead. And so there is he might want he might not want to
Are
acknowledge.
we are him talking to himself. If we're gone, he still has to have these conversations that we have just with himself. I think that's part of like
first
Right.
things foremost, he would never have these conversations with himself because he's weak. He's
Well,
completely and utterly weak. I
well,
don't know what his dad did, but he should have done more of it. You
well,
know?
he deep down he knows he's incapable of self-regulating and being there for himself, to give himself things that might sound a bit hippy dippy, but to give himself like compassion and self-love. If anything, he's got self-loathing. He would hate to have to be in company of himself, but unfortunately that is what he to get better, to go on this road of recovery and healing, that is what he needs to face, to be able to be comfortable with the person you despise, that being yourself, being all right to look at yourself in a mirror. So he doesn't have any confidence with pulling himself through all these obstacles and hurdles. He doesn't think he'll be able to do it. And the longer he goes on in life, and like you pointed out, his age, the more this actually becomes realism. Because what experience does he have of looking after himself? It's getting past the point of no return here. So so what tends to happen, instead of doing this it's like homework that's piled up. Instead of like working your way through it, slugging it out, and having to knuckle down. Again, it's far easier to be like, sod it, I'm just going to go off the rails and force people to look after me by becoming a complete nutter if I have to.
Wow.
It's basically like back to what I was saying about parody earlier. It's basically like you have to be able to mimic self-hatred in order to parody Wally, and that pisses him off that you can say like, oh, I hate myself enough that I'm going to sit here and make a 4-hour live stream talking shit about somebody, because that's the amount of self-hatred that it takes to literally create this entire narrative about how much of a victim you are. Like, I'm not a victim. I don't. If nobody changes anything about Wally in the next couple of days after this video airs, I'll be fine. Like, because I'll just live life and I'll accept that there's things that I cannot change. But for Wally, just me saying one thing, now he wants me to pay $200 to pay his hospital bills because I put him in a emotional coma or something, and now I have to pay his hospital bills. That's a completely different form of unironic self-hatred. That
he would love it. He would love it if I drove him over the edge.
Let's kind of move on for a little bit. So, besides me turning 35, what's everybody been up to?
Well, I'm getting ready to get back to my kid going back to school, so it's kind of like checking clothes, making sure they still fit, getting her into the mindset of like holidays coming to an end, so you're gonna have to get ready for a workload. You're going into the year above now, so things are gonna get harder. So I'm in kind of like preparation, organizing things mode, or phase is probably a better way of putting it.
Like, it's been a while since we had a bleeding edge, and we haven't been able to have these have our deep talks.
Yeah, I've been wondering what's going on. I mean, is it a summer break? I mean, is there going to be one this Sunday, for instance?
I don't know. Like I said, it's all up. I mean, it's all up to my schedule. Like, 'cause I'm in a truck, and now that I've gotten, went to a new company, and I'm still getting used to being home every weekend. And being home every weekend, a lot of people don't like what I say on the live streams. So
that's one thing. I mean, if you can do it, if everyone, I think that I have the time to do it. It's just that I haven't been. I've been kind of preparing a little bit too for like the winter coming up, and like a lot of furniture and stuff I have to move. It's better to move it.
You got a winter jacket?
Yeah, I got enough stuff to be warm and stuff, but then like, yeah, my job is gonna be walking distance, so I just have to be able to make it there.
Right.
And everything like that. But yeah, no, we'll start them up again. I just thought it was nice to I don't know, I guess give other, because when it's every Sunday, it's like you can tell people are just watching it, waiting to respond to something that you say. So I just thought it was nice just to like hear more from like the manosphere, since we do talk about it, in order to, better, I don't know, have a better approach, because approaching everything as other people are talking about it, I feel like it's just bad. It's just a bad practice to develop, sort of.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've been ever observant or observing, I suppose. So I have been noticing issues or trends that have kind of like risen up during our hiatus. I mean, a break is always a bit welcome. I've always, each week that's gone by.
Sometimes I feel like a hypocrite, because I'm always telling like Wally, like, take a break from YouTube, but then every Sunday I make like a half or something. So it's like, it just feels like it's feels a little hypocritical, just a little bit.
Yeah. Some of the changes, some of the things that I'm going through at 35 is like, it's a lot of mental changes, for me. It's like, I'm thinking more,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not thinking. I'm not doing what I did, what I was doing a couple years ago. You know, but I'm actually trying to learn some more things to continue on with life. I'm also trying to better my driving. You know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Try to be the best at my craft.
Over here, Win, you might, I don't know if this is like a joke or not, but I see the suggestion, because we got a lack of lorry drivers over here, and in the desperation, they're trying to suggest that any old drivers are going to be given the chance now to drive rigs and lorries and trucks. You don't need any special training or anything.
That's not
If you've got a regular driving license, then apply for it.
That's not a good idea. Your accident rate is going to skyrocket.
Oh yeah,
your trucks are bigger than ours, are taller than ours, are more are what you call it. Y'all have the cab over the engines. Y'all have cab over. We have long nose.
You're an island. I feel like you guys have this like islander mentality or something that's like semi-rural. Like I just think it's funny how the laws are made, where it's just like, yeah, people with that, because if it was in the middle of the U.S., it's like, all right, yeah, there's plenty of space to like train somebody how to drive, especially if they already have 20 years of being on the road, or Uber driving, or having to follow some sort of regulations and stuff. Like I could see it, but in the UK, which is like super congested, and then like bunch of other language, like it's like cosmopolitan almost, like the whole like southern part of the island. It just seemed weird that you would just give anybody who is able to pass a driver's license test a shot at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a joke or something, but it's at the same time, it's like I wouldn't put it past them. You
better hope it's a joke.
So, I mean the regulations for motor vehicles and bicycles even is like, it's all becoming like a circus show. I mean, it's getting crazy. Like going the other direction, we have the
nobody wants to drive with those regulations.
It's becoming impossible,
right?
And at the same time, they want to talk about climate change and being all greener, but they put, I don't want to sound like a complete fascist when it comes to cyclists. It's like, fine, I understand it's nice or whatever, but you'll have tailbacks of traffic waiting for cyclists, and this is somehow meant to be greener. They want to propose that they're trying to suggest that the majority of vehicles are they're not being used, so they want to try and eliminate private owners from having cars and encourage car sharing or shared ownership or something like this.
Yeah, I've seen some of these people who drive truck, and I don't ever want to get into a truck after one of these blokes.
Right.
And then I've seen some people's car and how they leave them a complete and utter mess with no maintenance whatsoever. And it's like, do I really want to depend on that car that's been used all week, like the town horse?
Right. I mean, I'm sure in terms of, because what baffles me is like vehicles are getting greener and greener. Technology is getting more efficient with burning fuels and things like that. So how is it somehow there's an increase in pollution? Or how is it somehow these vehicles are contributing to the climate change? I mean, back in the olden days, vehicles were far more polluting, and I'm sure the same kind of
like y'all drove around in a freaking tarmac which burned coal.
Right, and they're trying to suggest that somehow, like, they're closing off roads because of air pollution and noise pollution, but it never really bothered me when I was a kid, with black smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe. So what on earth are people getting into a tizzy about? And I'm sure the same with truck, because it makes business sense to be more fuel efficient. You know, you get more miles out of you go by gallons, right?
Yeah, we go by gallons, U.S. gallons.
Right. So obviously, the more efficient the vehicle is, be it a truck or be it a car or whatever, they can get out of, scrimp and save out of the fuel, the better, especially in today's crisis, whatever.
Right. Basically, it's a self-induced crisis.
Yeah.
It's a self-induced crisis. It's what it is. It's self-induced.
Are you experiencing a push? I don't know, because obviously they're pushing out like electric vehicles, and I think they're dabbling in the idea of like electric lorries and trucks, and
they don't have the infrastructure to do so.
no, get this. This is kind of funny. So, the police departments or whatever agencies, they've been trying to roll out some electric vehicles, but they run out of juice on the way to being called out. It's like, oh.
Well, I think what's funny is we have the infrastructure to sell all of these goods and materials, and even like the idea that you can have be a future owner operator of your own trucking company, but we don't have the infrastructure for the trucks to be maintained and to actually operate on the roads.
Right.
That's what most state building projects are to support higher, like all the logistics of having more trucks. But the thing is, they have to improve on it year by year because there never is enough, because they never plan to have more and they always get more. That's why I think the desperation is leading to, okay, we'll just let anybody and their mom and can basically drive a truck, because we keep all of this stuff that needs truck transport.
It has to be traveled by truck, and the problem is with a diesel engine, between a diesel engine and an electric vehicle, the diesel fuel gets lighter as the truck will get lighter as you burn diesel fuel. The truck will get lighter as you burn the diesel fuel. Electric vehicles, they remain at a constant. And when you lose charge right around 75 to 50% of the charge, you begin to lose power faster because your weight remains at a constant. The power to weight ratio changes.
Mass exerted on with like less fuel, that would make sense. Yeah, it just gets heavier and heavier.
I mean, are you guys heading into like autumn now? Is your summer sort of finished?
It's in some parts of the country it might be finished, but in other parts of the country it's starting to hit. The leaves are starting to change.
Yeah, in terms of finding Teslas, I don't really. I mean, where I used to live, there was a lot, but I don't really see too many out here now. I think I see maybe one or two.
Because your state's grids knows that they can't support it.
Oh, they have charging stations, but it's only enough to support the very small. If it were to grow, which I'm already starting to see, the growth is affecting. I mean, I'm not going to try to be a fearmonger or anything like that, but like growth is kind of reflecting in the surrounding area, that the excessive growth, kind of like what Billy was kind of hinting to with just like the regulations and stuff. The regulations of certain parts of the country still support, like, are still rational, are still they still try to get things done, but I can just tell that
it's not going to work. It's not going to happen for long. The thing is, what my thing is about electric is you're trying to go completely fossil fuel free by this amount of time, but the thing is, like, you've got all this thing is like, you cut down trees to make solar panels. You cut and you disturb wildlife we cut down trees and disturb wildlife, disturb ecosystems to make solar panels,
Yeah,
to make
they also say they want to get rid
turbines.
of Pacific, the thing in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the Great Garbage Pile. But that garbage pile actually has its own ecosystem and like its own
Yeah.
plant life and microfauna. So they're really literally going to destroy an ecosystem all because they want to look at when they get an ocean view, they don't want to see any plastic in the ocean because then it would ruin the honeymoon and then I wouldn't be able to get nookie or whatever. It's all just like it's all
Convenience.
yeah, like what Billy said. Like, when did anyone ever care about car smoke getting in there? Oh, the baby. Like, I know someone who got a new dog recently, and they like are taking it out on artificial grass because they think it's gonna have it could get a disease from the regular grass and it could die. And
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of our problems when it comes to, I suppose this is like eco problems and environmental problems and things like that. It's basically virtue signaling.
You're causing the problems by trying to fix the problems instead of
Right.
trying to basically add to the solution by, hey, why don't we plant trees? Why don't we have labs doing research on plant life so that we can incorporate plant life into our day-to-day lives?
Well, a lot of
But that
it.
would-
well, a lot of the research that people talk about has already been published. Like no one talks about new research anymore. It's all well, they talk about new articles about old research that are bent to the left so that it can look like we're all going to be a burnt crisp by 2025. But that's all people really pay attention to. They're not advocating for new research. They always like
they're advocating for causing more problems.
Well, they try and push it onto the everyday consumer because they're trying to suggest that it's like you people should feel ashamed of yourselves with your carbon footprints. But do you realize that this term of carbon footprints came from BP when at a time when there was like an oil spill and it was a disaster?
Exxon Valdez, the Exxon
Right.
Valdez.
Well, it was a disaster because so to try and turn public like resentment or disgust away from the companies.
yeah, right. The people who destroy
US,
they would say destroy the environment are the only people that have a vested interest in preserving it because that's how they get the resource acquisition. Is
the
through,
USS Arizona is still at the bottom of Pearl Harbor, leaking crude oil, leaking oil.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the USS Arizona is still at the bottom, and a few of the ships are still at the bottom, leaking oil. And yet we let all that oil go to waste instead of basically, hey, let's put some sort of barrier around it to absorb the oil, and then we can collect it and repurpose it. But that would make too much sense. These people make the most asinine decisions.
No, when the environment will be a lot better if everyone just drinks out of paper straws.
Really?
Yeah, and
So you trade one environmental problem for a whole nother environmental problem that does more damage.
the turtles are choking on plastic.
Fuck them turtles.
Yeah, I mean,
You just drink out of paper straws. When
fuck them turtles. If you really want to solve the problem, metal straws would make more sense. And yeah, the metal straws would make more sense.
Dude, I can't
if you're really that suicidal.
The PETA ads will be like, they'll be like birds that are like being impaled by metal straws, and they'll be like, "Oh no, outlaw metal straws!"
Well, you can't. Well, you're tearing down the trees to build the paper straws. You're cutting down trees to build the paper straws. What's the difference?
It's either watch a turtle get impaled by a metal straw or ruin the squirrel's home.
It doesn't sound. It sounds like a humanity. It sounds like a very humane choice. Fuck. Yeah. I guess we could say fuck squirrels.
Wait, I thought you were on the impale turtles side.
Fuck them too. Fuck them too. In fact, you know what? Well, why not just make it go faster?
You can
instead of simply having waiters and waitresses not being fucking lazy and washing the rim of the goddamn cup. so that people can actually drink the goddamn cup out of the goddamn cup.
Also,
You want to put
this might be some more rage bait for Win, but have you seen those Hooter TikToks where like the people give the Hooter girls huge tips? I mean, that pisses me off.
that is the simplest stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Anything like what do you expect to get by giving a waiter a huge tip? A blowjob?
Always like,
You're not
I was so thankful, you know, for getting
Yeah.
like $1,000 or something for a tip.
1,000? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who the hell does that?
Seen some crazy ones. Yeah, they're like $1,000. So
1,000? Oh my god.
girl says like, oh, the waitress, the customer says like, say whatever you want, and then the girl says 1,000. So then they're like, all right, go get 1,000 out of my wallet, and then the girl's like, counts it, you know, checks to see if they're real, and they're like, thank you, and then the guy's like, oh yeah, no problem, no problem.
Really?
It's
Oh my
about
god. Oh my god. The simplest word. The
fucking
simplest
no problem. Why are you eating at Hooters?
like first off, if you're at Hooters, then if you're a waitress at Hooters, you've only got a certain span where you can actually do that.
It's like one step up from Applebee's. Let's be honest. I mean, the girls in Applebee's be looking pretty, you know, be looking pretty good as well.
You should one step up from Applebee's. Oh man, look,
Well,
Oh, yeah.
gentlemen, I'm going to get going because I've got some other things I need to be getting on with. Actually, not no offense, but I mean, I've got to like make dinner for myself. It's so late, I don't even get enough food anymore.
wow.
Yeah, no, it's like what time is it? It's like 11:30.
We've gone on for about an hour, but I
Oh, no,
want to. Yeah,
Quite no, the conversation at the moment is like it's actually quite interesting. It can go in all sorts of directions. We were talking about environmentalists, and you got eco warriors, and all this sort of stuff, and changes in policy, changes in law. What are people supposed to do? You got the decline in mental health because people are trying to adapt and change. You got, I mean, I don't know what old people. There's actually a channel I don't know if you guys want to maybe check out. I think it's called History Debunked. It's a pretty elderly, I don't know what age this English gentleman is, but I don't know, the eyes of the demographics and how they're seeing the changes in the world. I mean, people are struggling to wonder, like, what is winter going to be like? And you know, I mean, really, we should be forecasting what are the next 5 years, what are the next 10 years are going to be. I mean, and then we look at the other direction with the children and how are they going to adapt. And I didn't realize this. I mean, we're looking at like population. We're looking at statistics with population growth.
I'm gonna tell you. All right, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I think. How those children are going to adapt. They're gonna not. They're gonna grow up not knowing what it was like in the 90s, in the 2000s, and early 2000s. They're gonna now they're gonna be able to put more pressure on people, and then people are gonna start dropping dead like flies to a can of Ray because they're gonna basically give themselves a lead-induced lobotomy sleep.
The days of baggy clothing and sleeping in the youth and stuff is gone. Everybody's going to be like hard. They say that zillennials are supposed to be like some of the hardest workers or something like that, or the generation after them.
They're going to be slaves.
Yeah. Like it's not hardest workers. That's being a little bit too, you know. They're gonna just work a lot. That's pretty.
They're going to be slaves. They're going to be slaves. Just put it that way. They're going to be slaves. They're going to be slaves.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know what the aliens are, how they see the progress. And we say it's like evolution.
We are de-evolving. We are regressing.
Did you guys? I mean, I learned this today. Like, did you guys ever hear that childhood dementia? Have you ever heard that? Like, 'cause normally you think of dementia as an elderly problem.
We're screwed. If that's the case, we're screwed. You know, we're deeply screwed. We are deeply boned. These kids are not going to handle. These politicians are going to start wars. These kids are not going to handle, and then it's gonna make the Iraq and Afghanistan war, which is a complete and utter clown show, look like a walk in the park.
Yeah,
Whatever war
we're trying to make changes, and we call it like for the better on a global scale for
worse.
people who, like, i.e., like the children, who simply aren't going to be able to adapt to it.
There's plenty of bridges. There's plenty of bridges across the United States, and there's a whole ass canyon.
Wind. Have you heard of the comedian Bill Bailey?
The what?
The comedian Bill Bailey.
No.
Right. So I don't know. Make a little note or whatever. Look it up. It's a fabulous. Bill Bailey's a great comedian. He kind of mixes in music, and he did a birthday song in the minor key, and I don't know if you'll get a copyright strike if you play it here. If not, play it in your own kind of at your own leisure. And the birthday song, I think he kind of named it like the meaningless milestones of decay. It kind of gives the game away, but you know, it's like because normally happy birthday is going to be a happy time, happy, right? But he's like in minor chord progression. So it's like misery gets over here. He's like, happy birthday. It sounds miserable, but it's fantastic. Go look it up. You'll have a great.
I will.
The meaningless milestones of your decay. I can't remember, like, but
these kids when they start school, these kids when they start school, these teachers are gonna these schools. I've learned that these schools are meant to destroy ambition.
Oh yeah,
and it's like they're
shortening the amount of time for kids to self-reflect during the curriculum, to the point, like, even in my grades, even my early grades, you could have told that, like, when they got rid of recess, like, early kids don't do recess anymore. They just work.
Fat. They're gonna be fat.
They just sit at the desk and work, and like if they have friends, they talk at the desks. If it is lunchtime or snack time, they're eating at the desks, and everything is just like, it's just so boring now.
They're training them to be corporate slaves.
Yeah, I mean, and there's my kid going back to school soon. I don't know. Like I was saying, I don't know if it was true that they're going to offer out trucks to like people like me. But I mean, geez. So I don't know if this is true, but apparently there were emergency talks of 3-day weeks for children because everyone wants a raise, you know. So teachers wanted a raise, and it's like all well and good, but heck, we can't afford to keep the schools open.
How much has feminism affected your country?
Oh, it's a lot, you know. To what extent? Who knows?
I mean, it is affected it a lot. Let me tell you a little something here.
To try all the kind of
in order to fix the problem, in order to fix, and they're not going to do it because it's coming from a middle class, because we're down here. In order to fix the problem, you not only have to you need to raise the number of male teachers in every curriculum. On top of that, you have to bring back recess, music class, art class. You have to basically have to give these kids some sort of incentive to go to school. You basically can't. The thing is, how American schools are designed is basically kill your desires, kill your dreams, and basically you work. There's nothing in life for you but to work. If they brought back art class, that would basically allow these kids to come up with creative problems. if they came back with music class, you would actually have these kids have something to vent, an instrument to vent out whatever frustrations they're going through throughout the day, or choir class, or some sort of class where they can sing, or they can basically, if you basically, instead of basically having this individual test, you make it so not only that they can solve problems together. The American, we that is why Americans are so selfish, is because they lord their grades over people whenever they get good grades.
Well, from what I kind of understand, because of the whole like the coof, the COVID thing. I mean, grades have gone down.
Yeah.
However,
Oh, it's
in
quarantine. It's like
apparently it's actually not too bad. I don't know if they're trying to lie, if they're trying to give the impression that everything is wonderful. But
No
it's
child left behind.
lit.
No child left behind.
So anyway, Wind,
Mhm.
happy birthday, my brother, and Baron.
Thank you.
I don't know what kind of name are you going by on this panel here. What have you called yourself?
Lionome or something.
I don't know.
Leonome.
a lion character.
Anyway, gentlemen, take care. Have a good night. What did Ben and Ted say to each other? Be excellent to each other. And I bid you farewell until Bleeding Edge. How's Tico, by the way?
He's doing all right.
Treat yourselves like milk. What does he say?
Do
Don't
nothing but spoil yourself.
Don't turn into butter. Churn that cheese. I don't know. Become powdered milk.
Don't try not to. We don't want powdered milk. Babies know it's fake.
Condensed.
All
Condensed.
ways you could have milk. Anyway, I'm going. Bye bye.
Billy. Happy birthday, Billy, too.
Yep.
Lots of people's birthdays around this sort of.
For the challenge. Oh, you gotta celebrate. All right, anyways.
Ladies, Gators.
Bye, Billy.
10-4. And the thing is, the way I see this, it's crazy. Like
We're
them
basically
kids, them kids are gonna grow up to be slaves. They're nothing more. The millennials are gonna be slaves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
I live in your state now. I live in your state, Saki-san.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like I said, anybody at this point who's still screwing, who's still having babies, your kids are gonna be slaves. Congratulations. Gratitations. Yep.
England.
Yep. I'm here.
Gonna have a wild turkey. Win a burger.
Oh man, I wish I had some wild turkey. That'd be nice. But yeah, there's can't win them all.
Oh, January 6th.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little recap on the topics. Wally, Mega Man, whatever you go by, I don't care who you need to unfuck your life.
A nugget toe enthusiast.
Yeah. You need to come to the conclusion that you're not getting your baby you're not getting your baby mama back, and you might not see your kids.
He could turn himself into tailor-made chicken nuggets or the nugget toe mindset, and he could become an anti-master channel and get tens of thousands of real people that hate MGTOW.
Right.
He'll do that, but he doesn't.
But he doesn't. That would make too much. You can make sandals. You can make chicken nugget toe sandals.
Nugget toe sandals, yeah, with like the just chicken nuggets on the front part of the sandal, so it looks like when you put your feet it matches the size and the proportion of the nuggets.
Right. You know,
That would
that would
make
make sense.
that.
Yeah, and the environment.
Trying
Look,
to get in the
fuck,
dog pile. He's like, if he actually took this energy and applied it, it's like, hey, come on, man. People have said this to him, and it still doesn't work. So just
right.
let it
And
go.
I'm letting it go. The next thing's the environment. Fuck the sea turtles, fuck the squirrels, and fuck them birds. Because no matter what we do, we're gonna cause more. No matter what we're doing, we're gonna cause more problems because we knock down acres of trees to build solar panels and wind turbines, and we got some wind turbines sitting in the desert somewhere rotten because they can't be recycled. And you know what? While you're at it, just goddamn screw the soil of the planet. Because why? Because lithium is a freaking metal salt, and like metal salts, they're toxic to the environment. They kill the natural flora of the bacteria in the soil. And on top of that, these ion lithium batteries cannot be recycled. Good job. Screw the planet. Congratulations. You probably be better off throwing your old granny down to the La
All
Brea
right.
tar pits to make hopefully making a few generations some crude oil for the next generation. Just throw granny down there. It's not like we treat them with respect. It's not
Turn
like
it
people
into
treat them with
Febreze. I
respect in
love
the
the
first
smell. I
place.
love the old grandma smell. If you could turn that into a Febreze, you just spray
Yeah,
it and it smells like, old baked cookies and gardening and just,
like I said, I mean, people don't treat old people with respect anyway. Just throw my ass in La Brea tar pits, you
yeah.
know. And let's see what else we talked about. We talked about children. If you're screwing your children, you're screwing in the United States or any westernized country, your children are gonna be slaves.
Yeah.
It's just flat out. Your children are gonna be slaves. They're gonna be corporate drones. They're gonna sell you out if they decide to go full 1984 on your asses. They're gonna sell you out.
Think about it. Someone was
Congratulations.
probably conceived on January 6th, in the anniversary of January 6th, because it was the anniversary of January 6th. Can you think about that?
How
It's
convenient.
10 months
Uh,
later.
yeah, it's actually my birthday, Jinky.
Oh,
But
yes. It's not my birthday, too. Win just added this to my channel for some reasons.
yeah, but like I said, it's like I said, it's just what it is. Like I said, if they decide to go 1984, guess who's gonna be selling your asses out? Your kids. Good job. Like I said, I'm not prenatal. I'm not anti-natalist, but I'm anti having my own goddamn offspring sell my ass out. That's what I'm anti on.
I don't think your kids would ever sell you out, Win. You got a good heart, okay?
If they did, I'd kill them
I'm I'm
flat out.
I'm pro having your kids sell you out if you are a bad parent. Then like, they should be able to sell you out. If you
Hey,
are
look here. If I'm a bad parent, I'm a bad parent. But if I'm getting sold out like to because of thought police and new think or whatever the hell new speech or some shit like that, I'm like, oh really? Guess what? Everything's going up. Looks like some people ain't gonna have no they ain't coming back. Looks like some people ain't gonna have no more daddies,
lay off on
and you ain't gonna,
it's like
you know.
shot, 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 shot,
I
shot.
wish. I wish. I'm. It's what it is. Like I said, don't go full 1984. The second we start thinking double speech and new think, you got a problem. Like anybody who knows me growing up, if you somehow found my name, hold on, it's my brother.
Yep. All right, Wayne, I'm gonna get out of here, buddy. Happy birthday. It's good to see you. Thank you for putting this stream on my channel. If you guys are watching on my channel, you like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get out of here. Talk to you guys later.
With the finest bitch, we smoke the finest kush. I be shining, man, I know it's hard not to look. With the finest bitch, we smoke the finest kush. I be shining, man, I know it's hard not to look. He just pressed it up cause he got his bitch